providing access to web applications via an unique link. This tutorial applies to PHP Runner, ASP.NET and ASP Runner Pro. Here I signed on to a normal application where I can add, update, delete and view orders. I now opened the view page of an order. Let's say I need to share this order with someone who does not have access to this application. To do this, we need to create an unique link that can be shared with the external user. I now opened the orders table in PHPMyAdmin. The ID field is the record identifier or key for this table. Technically, we need the ID value to know which record to show to our external user, but we don't want to show the ID value as it would then be easy to guess the next or previous ID. Instead, we will use a hash value. Hash values are very difficult to guess, thus very difficult to guess the next or previous view page. Okay, let's add a column to the orders table. I call it hash. Hash values are long strings, so the data type will be varchar 100. Okay, here you can see the new column, which is currently empty for all records. I now open the project and synchronize the database. On the SQL query page, select the new field. On the security page, click on permissions to give the guest group access to the order list and view page. If the guest group is unavailable, activate it by selecting the Add Login as Guest tick box within the advanced options. Okay, the guest group is now available. Select the group and be sure that only list and view pages are selected. I'm doing this while using static permissions. The same will have to be done should you use dynamic permissions. Next is the page designer. I now remove the hash value from all pages. There is no need to have this field on any page, at least in my case. Next, we will add the event code. At the before a record added event of the orders table, add the following code. Here we set the hash field value with a string generated by the built-in generate password function before a new record will be saved. There are many ways to generate a string for this purpose, but let's keep it simple by using the built-in function. I now add the same code to the before record updated event. But be careful. You may not want to do this here. I only add the code here as I do not have a single record where the hash value is populated. So I will edit an order to populate a hash value so I can demonstrate the functionality later in this tutorial. Leaving the code here will change the hash value every time someone edits the record. So ask yourself, is that what you want? Perhaps not, but in my case, yes. Okay, let's move on. At the view page before process event, add the following code. First, we test to see if a user is a guest and if the post value hash is not empty. If any of these conditions are true, we stop right here. If the post value has data, we try and find the record in the table. Oh yes, be sure to change the table name to match your own table. I must rename this to orders. Okay, if we don't find the record from the provided hash, we again will stop right here. Else, we will create an array called keys. Populate the array and set the page keys. At this point, we will know the ID value and the view page will display. Okay, I now sign on again only to do an update to one of the records. Save the record and go back to the listing page. Back at PHPMyAdmin, I refresh the table to see if the hash column is populated for the record I just updated. And yes, it did. I now copy the value as we are now able to construct the unique URL for our guest user. Obviously, there are easier ways to get this value. For example, you can create a button on the view page to show the hash value or even the entire URL or something similar. But that is beyond the scope of this tutorial. The URL will look like this. Your website where the application is hosted. Point to the view page and add $hash equals and the value I just copied. And as expected, the view page opens. One small issue is the back to list button over here. How about we hide this button only when the page is accessed via the hash variable? Back at the project, the page designer, select the back to list button from the view page. Click the question mark next to the item ID and copy the code that will hide the button. Now at the event code, paste the code within the if statement that tests the post value hash. And that is it. The button is now unavailable.